welcome to 263 Chat, and today we are very excited to be hosting Virginia Phiri. This is a lady that we met, can I say by mistake or by chance, I don't know, but we met at Yvonne Phamberi Memorial recently, and we are here to be talking about a whole lot of stuff. She's got a whole lot of package that she wants to give to you, our viewers. So among other things that we're going to be talking about, it's about feminism and how we can celebrate our own artists. Right, welcome to the program, Madam Yvonne.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And I'm calling you Yvonne again.
Don't call me Virginia. It's good that you're remembering Yvonne. It's amazing. I'm just going to phone Ma and tell you that, you kept on saying, which is nice. And in other words, maybe Yvonne is right here.
She's here in spirit.
How do we know? Because really, it's good. I like it. Because she has not forgotten.
Great.
Oh, yes.
All right, fine. So if you can maybe just introduce yourself, just give us a small tidbit about yourself.
Well, there's nothing, no big deal, nothing to it really. Virginia Phiri was born in Bulawayo, Mzilikazi Township. The hub of arts. So you can imagine as a child already, you are already interacting with the art scene, with sport, with everything, with, really, and also genuinely so, like any other child. And also one important thing I would like to say, in my times, we were children and we were let to grow up as children, even though at times we encroach into adults, things like literature and reading, but really we had a good childhood. A bit naughtiness, a bit wonderful, a bit curiosity and everything. And I think I really enjoyed that. If I didn't have a good childhood, it could be a problem. We were, I think, also given the opportunity to express ourselves, whether it's at school, whether it's at the club where we used to hang out, whether it's in church, in the choir, or wherever. We just, opened up. In actual fact, most people say I'm an extrovert, but I don't think it's got anything to do with that. It's the way we grew up. I think most people who grew up my time, that was in the 60s. I'm over 60 now.
Okay,
so
great.
You can see it's a situation where I'm coming from far away, and I appreciate that. It's not only my family who brought me up. We were brought up by the whole township. All those people, the township, the mothers, the grandmothers, and everyone else, the big brothers and sisters. It's a community thing. Yeah. It's just like rural areas where you are brought up, but we were brought up in a township. And those were hard times. There was everything going on. Politics, music, sports, and all, in the black sense of whatever. But we caught up. So
it was interesting times, eh?
Well, this is the product of it.
All right.
So at the same time, school was very important for us. Very important. We, even those, our parents or grandparents or whoever, or aunts or uncles, whoever, made sure that we all went to school. And we loved school. We didn't bother school like most guys. We really, really wanted to go to school. And we did.
All right. Speaking about school and achievements in life, who are you in terms of profession? What do you do?
I'm an accountant by profession, retired. But while I was an accountant, I also wrote. In fact, I'm a founder member of Zimbabwean Writers 1990 with other women.
All right.
Because Writers Union was always there, but they never accounted for women's issues. And the senior women who were there at that time came up, like Barbara Ngala, Dosiko, Sengezi, Mayimtangadura, and many others. It's really, it was a mixed grill, including people who didn't come from Zimbabwe, like Monica Skid from Barbados, all the way, Flora Wills from Germany, and many others. It was a mixed grill, really black, white, yellow, we were all together. And us as youngish women, we were also very much into wanting to, but I didn't realize I was a writer. I was chancing, a bit afraid, a bit worried, a bit, even though I scribbled all sorts of things, I was so shy, and not shy in the sense of being shy, but sense of shying away with my stuff because I think, oh my God, I think this one is crazy. But eventually we got encouragement through workshops in the market. And also I'm a founder member of Zimbabwe Academic and Non-Fiction Authors Association, founded in 1996. Again, it's a situation where the academic and non-fiction writing was not being catered for. There was a need to come up with that. And all this organization I'm still running, even though times with difficulties here and there, economic situation, but people are willing to write and they're still writing, and I'm happy about that.
Great. I'm not going to be, I think I'm more interested in the writing part. Right?
The writing part.
What are your writings on? What do you write about?
Well, really strictly speaking, here we're talking about humanitarian issues, day-to-day lives, people's lives, our lives, and that's it.
Women's lives?
Not people's lives, human beings, not necessarily women. Of course, normally my main characters are always women, but women make things go round, and I'm in it. And look at your grandmother, look at your mom, look at everybody else. Looking back, really strictly speaking, we are all molded by women. Look, people always say mother tongue. Why do they say that?
Mother tongue.
They teach you how to speak, to do everything else. Yes, we don't say there's anything wrong with dads, but mama is very important.
All right.
Yeah, women.
All right,
I mean,
great.
look at your sister. You'll have your wife, you'll have your daughters and all. And once you respect women, you'll always respect your wife, you'll always respect your daughter, you'll always, and also we are saying, women, let them grow their sons to respect women.
All right. This brings me to an interesting topic. You know, I like I said the other time we met. I've always wanted to do something on feminism and feminists, but I sort of shied away because I
were you terrified?
Yes.
Terrified.
of the backlash that comes from that, right?
No, there's no backlash because the women speak the mind. You see, the thing is, people misunderstand feminists. Feminists don't have to be loud. They don't have to come out and scream on top of a tall building or tall tree or whatever. No, it can be done, but there are those feminists who are very silent, quiet, they do things with depth and all, and at the same time, even those who make a lot of noise have the mandate of those who are quiet. Things are cooking. While, in fact, you will underestimate some of the women whom you think are not feminists. Like I explained that every woman is a feminist. It's only that there are those who take it upon themselves to come out and operate openly. And at times when people come out as feminists, there are repercussions. You've got families, you've got work, you've got everything, whatnot. A lot of things go wrong. Once they label you as feminist, you lose out and all. But some of us like us, we take a risk sometimes and work in these areas. Look, we've helped to come up with a lot of policy situations for women. It's not only for women. When women are bettered, the men also have a comfortable life. Excuse me, our sons, our daughters, our fathers, our husbands, everybody. So that's it.
All right. Why do we need feminism? Are we not all equal, both men and women?
Look, we're talking of the African feminism, which is what we addressed on that day, and Yvonne Vera's memorial. We're talking about African feminism. It has always been a matriarch, the continent. Something somewhere got lost. And if you look back, you will understand. We gave example, if you research, you will find that matriarch, the people like kings and many other leaders in all. It was the women who saw the one and we're talking of matriarchs.
Right.
We are talking of foremothers in feminism dating back to centuries. It's always been everywhere, whether you like it or not. If you look in the Bible, even, I'm not talking of religion here, but it's also there everywhere. It's only that people don't want to see it. It has always been there. And people in Africa now, they are reclaiming something went terribly wrong. I don't know whose fault it is. We don't know what it's all about. But I think it's not about the women's rights only. No, it's about everything else. To condition, to make things work. And openly, freely, and honestly. Unfortunately, this sort of thing is misunderstood.
Yes.
And these women who come out are called rebellious, women who cannot be trusted, misfits and all that.
Yes,
I remember you said the other day, they are bitter.
Yes.
Absolutely. You saw how I demonstrated
yes.
Am I a bitter person? You can see that. Absolutely no. Why should I be bitter? If I become bitter, I get sick, I get frustrated. I'll never be able to work or do what I'm supposed to do. I can't afford that. So in fact, feminists are very open people.
But then we are in an African environment where feminism is not really understood as it is in the developed world, in the Western world, right? So
who said it's not understood? People do not want to understand. They choose not to understand. It's very unfortunate.
But then I was going to ask, do feminists hate men or they do it?
No, they don't hate men. We are our husband, our children, we have sons, we have everything. No, they don't. Why should we hate men? There's no reason to hate men. There's nothing like that. We are not men haters. They are part of humanity. We embrace them. If they lose it, we try to direct them. We try to say, now listen, this is what it looks like. Let's do it this way. I think it's a better way. And some of them listen, but some don't because they are men, they say. But it doesn't work that way. It's not about muscle of a man.
Interesting point is, you're saying you're married, you've got kids and whatnot, right? Most feminists that I've interacted with, they either are out of marriage or they've never been married before. So how do you juggle between being a feminist and living under a patriarchal society?
Well, look, I'll be very honest with you. I only got married at the age of 35, but I'd had my daughter before.
All right.
So, why was I not getting married then? I'd had a child, yes. And why didn't I get married? You take your time to look around in case you end up with a problem. And sometimes you say, well, is it worth it or is it not worth it? And at times when you've totally forgotten all about it, then an opportunity arises. Somebody comes from somewhere whom you think, oh my God, I haven't seen this type or whatever. And it's sort of like works out. Yeah. Sometimes you're not even looking or hunting, you're just yourself. It frightens us to, in fact, in relation to especially domestic violence.
Yes.
That is what is putting a lot of women. How many women have been killed, have been battered in front of their children, in public, disgraced, and everything else? That's frightening. And women are saying, okay, fine, if that's the case, we would rather not. They are not that they're afraid, but they're avoiding. There's so much to do in the world for women that they'll spend a lot of time in hospitals, being beaten up, telling lies that they fail or whatever because of embarrassment. It's not worth it. I'm not saying our daughters should get married, or women shouldn't get married. It's not only young women who can get married. Even 90-year-olds, 100-years-olds, if they so wish and find some, they can get married. It's got nothing to, in fact, feminism has got nothing to do with denying anyone to marry or to have a relationship or to cohabit or whatever. I know most people frown upon cohabiting, but look at most of the young people that we know, even senior people. It's happening until you know some are so scared to try it out and see. Feminists have got nothing against marriages or men or anything like that. It doesn't work that way. Misunderstood our cult.
Right.
Yeah, men need to be educated about feminism. And the first people they should learn from, if they're their mothers who are still alive, they go there and find out what it's all about. If they've got grandmothers or any other women they know who can, or even young women, they seem to understand these things nowadays. Young sons, your own sons sometimes are actually understanding. Husbands are also understanding, uncles and everybody else. Some choose not to because of their egos. But let's be honest, there's nothing harmful about feminism whatsoever. It's harmless. It builds, it's trying to build. It builds bridges. It also, creates a situation where people, peace initiatives are also coming from feminists and upside down. And I think it's time for people to understand when feminists have got their own ways of dealing with issues. The peace initiatives I'm talking about, I don't have to mention, you can research and find out. So much has gone, women behind scenes. When it comes out in the open, it's done. Yeah.
All right. You're talking about feminism from a social point of view, right?
That's right.
Let's talk about feminism from an economic point of view. There's this thing called gender wage gap.
Yes.
Is it real? Is it existing in our society, in our
Oh yes, the policies are there to say equal pay, but it's not being implemented. It's sad because the people who actually employ people should try and do that. There are very many shortfalls within the system. It's not only in Africa, in the Western world as well. That's why women are also coming out to say, look how the maternity leave took, how long it took for a woman to get a 3 months maternity leave or 6 months. It took a long time, a lifetime. I had it when I was a young woman, and until by the time it took paternity leave, where fathers or yourselves and wife, you can take leave to say, I want to go, and my wife can go to. It took a long time, but it gets there. It's work of feminism, excuse me. Oh yes, we are still, it's not, people take fighting. We are not fighting, we are negotiating. Fighting is not good. Why should people fight?
Speaking of negotiating, we've got female parliamentarians, right? I always ask about this, right? There's that quota that's reserved for women. Do you think we need that, especially in our parliament? Do we need women to be representing women, or women can do their things on their own without them being represented?
You see, the problem is the patriarch is so strong. I'm sure you saw that in my paper that I presented. That patriarch is very tricky. They actually set up women against women and to make things just mixed up, and then sometimes women lose direction, forget who they are and why they are in a certain places or certain quarters. So it's very hard. It's the man, the patriarch is very, very tricky. They are very, very tricky, and that's a lot of women fall into the trap and things go wrong. It shouldn't be that way. If we played a fair game and there was no trickery from the patriarch, I think things would be okay.
What is on that? And then there's that issue that suppose someone, a woman wants to ascend to a political position.
Yes.
There's that grouping of women that come together, they support their own. Are they doing it because it's a woman, or because that woman can deliver?
Well, normally we already know each other as women. That so and so can deliver, but so and so can maybe there for another purpose. Like the mandate I talked about. Once a woman who's not strong enough but is able to stand and go, if you have a mandate of the other women and the following and those who are propping her up, then she's well and good. She can deliver. It's not every woman that is able to. I mean, for instance, take me. I wouldn't like to be in that situation, but I would like to prop up others and say, you guys can go. See, so and so is like this. Then we talk and discuss it. Look at the qualities, this and that. She's got a shortfall here and there, and we can help her do A, B, C, D. You sit together with that woman, and it works. Yeah, you can get there.
Great. Let me take you back to writing. We've got quite a number of young writers, but they're writing other things.
Yes.
Do you think we have got enough young female writers who can articulate female issues, female-related issues?
Plenty, but they're never. The problem is the publishing sector is a bit weak at the moment because of the economic situation. They're talking of economics, and they're talking of money, lack of it. And at the same time, you know, the young lady who came, that Benura here, they are doing publishing textbooks. They are looking into money. The publishers are business entities, and they would love to make money. And what they call unsolicited manuscripts, they are not interested. I'm lucky that book and the other sisters of it have gone into education at higher level, secondary institutions of research and universities by pure chance because of the issues that I addressed, which are also universal. It's not only in Zimbabwe, it's the global. So that's my luck. I did not intend to. I had difficulties too. You heard Cheru saying it's only now that people are realizing Miss Phiri, Virginia, because of her books. My books have walked, have crossed borders, they've flown away, they've gone global because their issues there are universal. They affect everyone. And this actually is a situation where I had to take a risk. My first book, Desperate. I had to risk my own money to have it published. Thank God I had a colleague, Dr. Xavier Carlse, who had retired from UZ, went through the manuscript, says, Virginia, this is good. What should we do? No publisher would. First of all, it was the issues that I was addressing, which were very hot and very taboo. No one wanted to take a risk. Companies have boards, companies also have whatever, they didn't want to be put on the spot. So I had to take full responsibility. And Dr. Carl said, let's hunt for money. I took my savings and the first publication was self-published. And from there on, everybody says, oh, you won't manage to sell it, won't be marketed. It worked wonders, even right from the launch of the book at Zimbabwe International Society in 2002. It was full. The book was full. It was like madness. By the time we reprinted in all, people were beginning to realize that, okay, so we've got material that can also be overlooked. Like people like Tsitsi Dangarema, her book Nervous Conditions here, nobody took it. But look, it happened. You had Monica Cheru, the same thing. People couldn't take it. I could mention many other authors. They never, but now, when now we're recognized by other people everywhere, then they start, well, they're trying their luck, of course, but we negotiate with them. We don't say, we don't fight back, and it's just we coexist and appreciate when the publisher is doing something, we go along and do with them. When we're doing something, they come along. So really, strictly speaking, I would say there are many young women who are Zimbabwe women writers does exist now. We're having challenges, of course, with issues like finances, offices and all. It's tough. And the founder members, most of them, some have passed on, some have grown up, some have just stopped writing. But I'm one of the few who's actually carried on, and I enjoy my writing. And let me say, it keeps me sane. Can you imagine a person like me, if I didn't write it, everything was stuck up there?
That would be a disaster.
Oh, that would be a disaster, of course. Well, I can download and offload and all. It helps me. So I'm actually saying there are many, and that young lady who actually mentioned thing about the novel. In fact, I'm going to get hold of her. I'm going to send her some information that I received through my network for some woman in Uganda who's doing a workshop, something like that. She can also try her luck. She can be selected, then she can go. I will actually, then she wrote to me, and I had not told her over the weekend, but I'm going to write to her and forward her name to that woman. She can be lucky. Unfortunately, it will be in Uganda. But anyway, we are still here at home. Other people are helping us. If we can't do it at home, why not do it next door? Why not do it anywhere else? So that the young women can also live their dreams in writing.
This brings me to my next point, the next question. Right? You are helping, you're supporting these young men.
Support everyone, even young men, young ladies, and also writers. It's nothing to do with young. Anyone can start writing from the age of 90, 80 and all. They're new writers. We help everyone. It's not only in Zimbabwe, I help everyone.
All right, so what I was going to say, you are one of the less celebrated women in Zimbabwe, but you have achieved a lot internationally.
Internationally, of course. I mean, look, I'm an African orchid expert. I actually sat on the IUCN Africa Committee until 2012.
Great.
I now sit on the IUCN Species Survival Commission, actually appointed by Dr. Mike Fair of the Kew Royal Botanical Garden in England. The National Botanical Garden in Zimbabwe, here in Harare. We have, actually me and one colleague, we have contributed more than 50 dried specimens of orchids.
Wow.
I've presented at Rustenburg 2012 when people were just trying out, does she really say what she wants, maybe she's not about. I presented 70 slides of local orchids. We have 350 species in Zimbabwe, both, We have terrestrials, which are on the ground, which are very colorful. We have epiphytes, which grow on the trees and all. Amazing. So since 1993, my colleague was reminding me last month to say, do you realize you've co-authored 70 articles in orchid journals?
Wow.
And these journals we're talking about, they're not in Zimbabwe because there's no money or there's no research, sometimes it's not taken seriously. They are all abroad. I'm proud because everybody shares the Zimbabwean orchids and the information in the writing. It's not only about the flowers, it's also about the ecology and how or where and what not. So in actual fact, in 1999, an orchid, Zimbabwe Phiri, which are refound in Bucha Mountains in Matebele in South, was named after me. As an owner, of course. And at the same time, in 2004, I was honored by the German Orchid Society to be a life member of their association because of my contributions coming out from these articles and journals in 2004 already. And Zimbabwe, of course, they know about it, but nobody bothers, but it's okay. I'm actually recognized internationally, but at the same time, I think Zimbabwe benefits too. Because when South Africa was looking for somebody from Africa to present in Rustenburg at the Orchid Conference, which are people from America, from Germany, from South America, and many China, Taiwan, and all, even Peru, the Orchid Society in Germany sent them my name in Zimbabwe to say, if you're looking for an African expert, go to Zimbabwe, get in touch with Virginia Phiri. A year before even, and I did. I took my time to put 100 slides, 70 on the orchids, 30 on the environment degradation that is going on, destroying the orchid habitats. So there's the ecology part of it I'm talking about. We're talking of scientific area here, and that's it.
So why is it that in Zimbabwe we don't really support our own? Because you're just one example of the many people who are celebrated outside of Zimbabwe, but here in Zimbabwe, the media, especially us, the media, we are very silent.
But the problem also, it's not only being silent. You see, Virginia's got a big mouth. That's a problem. I say things that I want to say. Like I say, the freedom that we got from the township as kids, the freedom to express, to speak whatever is in your mind without insulting anyone. And I think for that I'm very well known, and at times people try to shy away or hide away, and I'm not quite sure. It could also be jealousy at times. I'm not saying it could be, but it can also be. But also the big mouth doesn't make you very palatable to a lot of people. I know that myself, but it's okay. I still work hard. I don't expect anything on a silver plate. I believe in working hard. I struggle, yes, but I get where I'm going, and when that happens, I'm very happy. And I move on to the next project. But at the same time, I don't ignore others. I give people time like yourself. I would have been saying important to say, okay, I'm sorry, this and that. Excuse me.
I've come across a lot of people who do that.
Somebody just said that to me on Friday here, a lecturer from UZ who is doing a PhD and Ms. Phiri, I would like to. And she says, you know what, you just say, why should I not? If you're right and you get into this business, you belong to the people. Talk, chat. Give them time if you can. I didn't have time the rest of the week, but I had time today for you. And I'm going on with my business, doing other things, meetings and whatnot, and things from, and of course trying to look for money and going to the bank like everybody else. Economics now.
All right, fine. Let's talk about Tsikanimagai.
Yes.
Especially on the girl child. I want to be biased on this girl child.
Yes.
In Zimbabwe, where do we stand? Where are we? How critical is Tsikanimagai, or have we lost that Tsikanimagai?
We haven't lost it. People are making choices, and I think I blame parents. Parents sometimes are not doing what they're supposed to. They modern, so-called modern parents are not doing what they're supposed to do. Look, I'm still very myself when it comes to traditional cultures and everything else. So you can understand that it's a situation where culture, tradition, and whatnot, sometimes it's got nothing to do with my genes or my what. It's the deeds, what you do and how you do it. You have lose nothing by saying thank you, sorry, whatever, and just be nice and just be humble. You don't get anything back. In fact, people have become so rude, it's frightening. Somebody can actually step on you on a toe, they move on, they don't even say sorry. If you want to ask, you say sorry, and they even want to beat you up. Well, it's sad because I think the parenting has gone wrong.
All right.
The parenting has gone wrong.
Can I say we're westernized?
No, it's got nothing to do with the West. Why should we be westernized? Am I not westernized here? Excuse me. Well, we are speaking English right now. But if you say Virginia Phiri, Ndebele, Taurane Shona, Muribwanzi,
All right.
Murikabo, I can. And you try to find out how do you behave when you're getting to a certain area, how do you greet the elders, how do you greet the women, you try, even children, you have to respect them. And once you actually do that to children, they will want to know why are you doing that and how. They're learning from you if it's not at home. We've lost it because the parenting has gone terribly wrong. Yes. The Shona part and the Ndebele part.
Okay.
And on both parentages, I actually practice both cultures, from the Shona aspect of my mom, from the Ndebele side of my paternal whatever, which is fine. And I still believe that even though you people are young and you're busy or old, if you really want your children to understand the culture, there's no harm for you to ask for help. There's Babaji Stephen Jifuni Sebe. He's a cultural guru in the sense that we know, and he's open, and he's free, and he really chats with everybody. It's not a mistake that UNESCO treasure him.
Yeah.
He's also one of the guys and gurus whom I think has been underutilized because of how we are. Culture, tradition, he knows. You can simply ask people, anyone. We have elders in the township, in the villages, anyone. Before you came, there was a woman who came here, and I could see she was very traditional. She had beads and everything and all and whatnot. I approached her, I was looking at the gate in case you're waiting, and I greeted her and asked her, because I could see there was a traditional aspect of it and spiritual too. And I just went along and greeted, and we started talking. She says, I'm coming from Tuesday, I think, and she was looking for the beads, coral, whatever. And it so happens that I've got coral beads that I bought in Ghana in 2004, and I've never worn them because I thought they were too, but I have them. And if she has failed and wherever she is, I would definitely find and give her those beads, because I could see she's a spiritual, she needs them. There's no sea nearby. Mine came from Accra, and I just love them. It's not easy. When you get a really ndoro in a necklace, which is a choker, it's not every day. But I kept it. Look, it's a tradition, it's a culture, and that is from all the way from Ghana, but it's here. And today I bumped into a woman whom I thought was spiritual. She was wearing white, she was whatever, and she was already wearing, and she's looking to buy those coral, the white ones. And I don't know, I'll just check if she's left the details, because I will pass them on. So really you can find, if you want to have your family, you can. The villages are still there, everybody's still there. You can ask it. You go to Mbare, there are many senior women there. That's where I always go to sometimes if I want to find out something really strong. I go there. There's Mbuya Mtiro who's there, who said she's been there selling wares since 1967 when she was a young girl. I saw her selling elephant down to some young men. And I said, what's that all about? She says, most of these youngsters have no parents anymore, it's too far. The wife is pregnant and she's about to give birth. So this one, if they mix it with water, they drink, it helps to, the labor. Look, this is tradition. Yeah. So I go to Mbari there because I knew I'd met her by chance when I was looking for something. She was saying, I had flu and I couldn't get rid of it. And someone said, if you get, there's some years ago, I'm a bronchitis, you get this sort of snuff which is ground a certain way, and sort of like you will actually sneeze and the stuff will come out, and it did happen. So from then on, I thought, oh, why not once in a while to seek wisdom. I also, if I go home in Bulawayo and I check, when I want to traditional things, people like Patisa Nyati, he's the one who told me the history of my paternal people. When I was just saying your name, you are a Kumpo and all. I said, but how did you know that? He says, well, I know everything, I'm a historian. And I said, but that's hidden because I took, I says, no. I go to the east where my mother comes from. All those royals from my eastern district, that's where my mom comes from. I find out this and that, and I can actually, perform whatever. If there are rituals or things going on, I'm there, I'm sitting there, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Matabele, the same thing, and that's it. But I'm here, Virginia Phiri, in jeans, cool, man and all, but there I am. I've not thrown it away. Yeah.
But we seem to be living in a society which is more religious than traditional. How do we strike a balance between the two? How do we go back to where we used to be and religion? How do we mix the two?
Excuse me. Religion.
Can I say Christianity?
Yeah, maybe.
I saw the
okay, fine. Sorry, yeah. I'm an Anglican. When I was born, 1954, I was baptized in the Anglican Church, right? Which I still belong, even though I don't go to church every day, I must confess. I go to the cathedral when I feel like walk in, kneel if I want to, sit down, talk to my God 2-3 minutes or whatever, and go out. Or if there's a funeral, I go to, service with others, or there's a wedding maybe once in a while. Mostly weddings, I don't go that much unless it's very close, but if the funeral is no choice, you read it. It's good. Culture and tradition, there's no conflict with Christianity. I still stick to my culture and tradition. I can still go to church. And if somebody wants to stop me from going to church just because now to do my tradition, just because I belong to their church, well, that's too bad. In the Anglican church, that doesn't happen. And I don't have to go there every day. I don't have to. It's become a bit crazy, let me call it, because now people are under pressure to be seen to be good Christians at the expense of themselves. Sometimes they don't even have a blanket at home, but they are able to pay so much money in church, or they have not food. But they're it's just not on. Excuse me. Let's pray. I can pray to God under a tree. I can pray to God in my house. I don't say people shouldn't go to church. They can, but don't forget your own. What's wrong with tradition? When I go to, sorry. These things coexist. It's there. You don't throw away your tradition. It doesn't work. Sorry. It doesn't mean to say I have to now wear skins and all that stuff. It's not necessary. The deeds, like I say, do.
Those are
of course. Excuse me. I'm actually, if I'm going to find a leopard skin, I'll be arrested because now I want to wear leopard. I'm breaking the law. I'll go to jail. Or if I want to take a porcupine and put it in my hair, I'll be in trouble because you are poaching. So you remain within the environs of environmental preservation.
All right. Molding the young generation, do we still value their roles, those people?
Well, they don't exist anymore. They exist in name. My brother, my father's sister, or my mom's brother,
like that,
or whatever.
Become a title.
Yes, it's titles, but they're also very busy. There's so much going on. They have to strike a living. They have to be away. My aunt, let's say, is in America, and I'm here, and they are blood.
Yes.
I go to the nearest one. I can understand, like where I go. Like I mentioned, I go to where I'm there. I can check it out with anyone. Is this correct? What's going on? Whatever. They are wise. We still have wise people in our communities. It doesn't have to be your blood people. No, they're there.
But are they still relevant? Are they?
Yeah, they're relevant because when you get married in a true sense of an African, you have to have a date. Whoever wants to marry somebody wants to know whatever. Sometimes people, even if they're away, they can negotiate with their actual relatives to say, can you stand in for us? And yes, it's still existing. It still does, even though the age of being an adult is 18, that you can simply walk to the major school, get married. It's there, but still you need
that sense, that feel.
People like me, I'm married to somebody out of my community, but they still paid lobola because I felt, even though Virginia cool, feminist, whatever you call me, anything, whatever. You're really cool. But still, the guy had to pay lobola as a token, not a fortune like what we see nowadays.
Exactly.
My family, I didn't even tell them what to do, but it was just an appreciation of me having been born in that family, having been, and me going to marry this guy. The guy paid a lobola. The fact that he did is important for me too, which is okay. It was not thousands, millions like what people are doing nowadays, but it was really, even in those days people were really charging a lot of money. I told you I've only got married. I've been married since 89? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's really 8 years ago, and I'm still married, and my feminism still goes on, and my husband doesn't worry. It's okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Right, and then as we wrap up, you give us this gift.
Well, that's going to 263 chat for you to share, to read. You can actually use it. The issues that are there affect us all. It's a universal issue.
Just a summary. What's in the book? Hayukin. What is it all about?
Everything else in there. Just turn your book back. You can read it's talking about, we're talking about economics, we're talking about education, we're talking about life, we're talking about how people live, and what's not everything else is right there. It's a mixed reel about ourselves. Yeah, it's not only about Zim or about Africa, it's also universal because people have adopted it everywhere else.
And then how can people get hold of you if they want your writings? Where do they find you?
At the gallery here, the books are sold. There's a bookshop here. They can also go online. By the way, you like online.
Yes.
Why this stuff came up here, because a lot of students were now using those books for their studies and all. And like you said, at Yvonne's thing, you were online. So we had to make sure that the students access this online. It's cheaper, it's electronic, but it comes out as is as the book with the cover and everything that's in it. So they don't lose out in anything. What they lose out is just my signature. But whenever I catch up with those with the hard copy, I sign for them. That's not a problem. So it's working because it's a matter of sharing information that it gets where. And it's quite, PhDs that have come out of all those books, everybody else is just not only here, but let people do what they want. We just write, we're sharing information. Let people, utilize it to the best of, we are building up, we're making people aware, and that's it.
All right, Virginia Phiri, thank you for your time.
I also appreciate that, because at least if we hadn't met at the Bone Bearers Memorial, I wouldn't have had the opportunity. I'm also grateful. It's nice to be recognized at home. I know I'm used to being recognized outside there.
Right.
But it's nice if it's in your own home. It
feels good to be home.
Of course, it's nice, isn't it? Thank you so much. And you caught me when I just come back. Maybe I'm going back again. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
So thank you guys for joining us today. Join us on other programs that may follow. My name is Love Dream Tungiza. It's been nice.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.